Okay, our next tutorial is on SCAT. And SCAT is a reading strategy that looks a little deeper at most of the things you know already uh, about how to analyze a story or analyze a text. Okay, um, so let's look at it up close. So we're doing this again on Geraldo No Last Name by Sandra Cisneros. I'm going to be using the same text for all of these videos to teach you the strategy. So with SCAT, we look at setting, character 1, character 2, the author's style and use of language, and the theme. Okay, so let's look at that first. So the setting, the quote is Uptown, Logan, Embassy, Palmer. This indicates that this is the United States. It's in an urban location or a city. It's a modern day dance hall. It's Saturday evening into Sunday morning. Okay. Character 1. Look at their complexity. Is it a round character or a flat character? Round character meaning you know a lot about them, or is a flat character, person just in the background? Static character is somebody that is a character who doesn't change and remains the same. A dynamic character changes throughout the story, sometimes dramatically. And then you want to make sure that you show all of the actions and interactions. Okay, so she met him at a dance. She knows cumbayas, salsas, even rancheras. So Marin is a round and dynamic character. She meets a new dance partner and ends up advocating for someone she doesn't even know. And then she questions herself afterwards, like, why did I stay? Why did I defend him? Why do I feel so bad? I just met the guy. Character 2 would be Geraldo. Pretty young, worked in a restaurant, wearing his Saturday shirt and green pants. So Geraldo is a flat and static character who doesn't really change. Uh, and he's kind of in the front ground, but it's not so much as Marin, okay? He's responsible. He sends money home to his family. He only goes out on Saturday nights, and he dies due to his injuries. And the reason we know that is all of this information about Geraldo is because it's in the last couple of paragraphs of the story. We don't know anything about Geraldo that Marin doesn't know until the end of the story. So that's why Geraldo is a flat and static character. Okay, author style. How does the author use language? So you need to give me at least, you need to show me 2 examples of figurative language or literary devices. So you could mix and match, or they could both be figurative language, they could both be literary devices. It's up to you. So how was she to know she would be the last one to see him alive, is the quote from the story. This shows situational irony. It's very matter of fact. There's no punctuation. It's almost like the author's in shock. So that would indicate tone. Saturday shirt. This is the good clothes that Geraldo wears. This is a metaphor. We could also talk about how the author uses flashback and description, how the author describes Marin, how the author describes the shiny Saturday shirt and the green pants. Then the theme or life lesson. Geraldo. He went north, never to be heard from again. And that relates to the theme, we don't always know the full story. So that's the first part of this analysis. Then the second part of the analysis is you want to do a plot diagram. So how does the story progress? So we know Marin likes to dance. She goes to all the dances in town. She meets Geraldo in his shiny shirt and green pants. They dance all night together, and as they're leaving, Geraldo is the victim of a hit and run right outside the dance hall. And Marin, since she's a witness, has to go to the hospital with him. But then she stays. She answers all the questions, and then she stays. And this is when she kind of starts to question. Then Geraldo dies, and she blames the understaffed hospital. And it's then after the fact, after Marion goes home, that we learn about Geraldo and how his home is in another country. He sends money home, and he leaves behind a family with no information. All they know is that he disappeared. The last part of the analysis, and this is required for mastery, is you need to take the information from the chart, from SCAT, and the plot diagram and put those together in a paragraph. In the modern urban story, in the modern urban short story Geraldo No Last Name by Sandra Cisneros, Marion loves to attend classes at the local dance halls. She meets Geraldo, they dance, and as they leave, he is hit by a car and taken to the hospital, where Marion is questioned by police and doctors. She is forced to become his advocate, despite the fact she just met him, which is a paradox and a way for the author to point out how absurd reality can be. The author develops the story through flashback and the tone of shock because question marks are missing, as are exclamation points in the text. The author uses irony, description, and metaphor to reveal the tragedy of a night of dancing, resulting in a death. This confirms the theme that we don't always know the full story. Now, notice there is a little bit of summary about what happens, but there's a lot more analysis. So the summary tells me what happened in the story, and then the rest of it is all about how the author develops the story. So, using paradox and a comment on how absurd reality can be, using flashback and the tone of shock, and using irony and description. Okay, so that is what makes this analysis. You tell me how the author does it. How does the author develop the story? Okay, so this is how you would use SCAT to analyze a text.